For the others, is this your first cave or you've been in caves before? First cave for some of you, well, I commend you for your brave heart. I'm not going to regret it. And for the others who've been in caves before, what was your experience like? What was the temperature like?
Hot. I've been cool, hot. I've been in both.
Right. Right. Because most persons, I actually see a few jackets on. They expect our cave to be a bit cold, but that is not going to be your experience today. Get ready to experience a humidity of about 96%. Oh. Yes. And that is because the cave will settle at the average annual temperature of the region where it's situated. So no winter season here, so our cave stays at about 78 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. So nice and warm on the inside. Of course, we have a living cave, so do expect a few pleasant drips of water coming from the ceiling. Feel free to rub it in your skin, the fountain of youth. You can see the benefits. Yeah? I wouldn't tell you my age.
He's 96.
You just have to come back regular for your youth treatments, okay? Of course, you can't take flash photography on the inside. It should not affect our formations, so take plenty of pictures on the inside, but do protect your camera equipment. The only thing we do ask is please not to touch. Our bodies secrete natural oils. When we touch formations, we actually destroy them. So we do want to preserve our formations for future generations. So ladies, from the humidity, you can actually say goodbye to your hairdos. So right now, we're just going to be watching a short film explaining a bit how our island Barbados was formed and about our cave system as well. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy. And it's action-packed just for you. No popcorn.
Welcome to Harrison's Cave. In just a few minutes, you will be witnessing one of nature's most beautiful works of art. But first, let's go way back in time and see just how beautiful Barbados was born and how the miracle of caves came about. All the islands of the Windward and Leeward chain evolved as a result of volcanic activity. All, that is, except one. The one that stands alone to the east of all the islands is our island, Barbados. Barbados is a very young island, being a mere 60,000 years since it took on the shape it is today. Its formation is also utterly unique. But in order to understand just how ancestral Barbados came about, we must go back in time a long, long way. It is well documented that 200 million years ago, there was but one landmass on planet Earth, which modern geologists name Pangaea. About 180 million years ago, Pangaea started to fragment, and separate plates, as they are called, drifted away to form the continents. In the main, if two plates met head-on, they crumbled and were pushed upward. Many of the world's great mountain ranges were formed in such a way. In the case of the two plates we are looking at, the Atlantic plate folded under the Caribbean plate, and there, 50 million years ago, 4 kilometers beneath the surface of the ocean, the stage was set for the formation of Barbados. The trough that formed as a result of this folding action began to fill with sediments washed up from the South American continent. Along with these sediments, the tropically warm ocean teemed with billions upon billions of microorganisms that had shells of hard silica and carbonate. As the organisms' short life cycle ended, the skeletons of these tiny plankton were continually added to the so-called South American sediments. From time to time, the flow of these sediments slowed, and the layer of plankton skeletons would increase. Now we fast forward to about 15 to 10 million years ago. The silica and carbonates of the plankton skeletons have now hardened into masses of solid rock we know as chalk, and less commonly, radiolite. It could be said that these rocks are huge graveyards of microorganisms, and therefore referred to as biogenic rocks. about 10 million years ago, the two colliding plates had moved so much that the ocean floor itself began to buckle upwards, carrying the ridge of oceanic sediments closer and closer to the surface. This entire ridge emerged, and even today stretches from Puerto Rico in the north to Trinidad in the south. Finally, between 1 and 2 million years ago, a mere blink of an eye in geological terms, the seabed broke the surface at latitude 13 degrees north and 59 degrees west, and ancestral Barbados was born. It was, in fact, the area known today as the Scotland District. Before 800,000 years ago, coral reefs could not grow in the sea around ancestral Barbados. The conditions were not right. They needed clear, nutrient-rich water, which did not exist at that time. But then, over a period of about 200,000 years, conditions for reef formation became ideal. Prolific coral growth took place in the relatively shallow waters that surrounded ancestral Barbados. At around 500,000 years ago, a massive tectonic push lifted the entire island along with the submerged coral reef terrace. The result was that this terrace was now entirely above sea level and became the first and upper coral terrace. Another outcome of this tectonic uplift was that an abundant fresh coral growth began in the new shallow waters created around the west and south coasts. At about the same time, erosion started to take place on the east coast, exposing the intriguing folds of the oceanic sediments that remain to this day. The sheer rock face of Hackleton's Cliff was also formed during this period. Further geological developments were that the heavy tropical rains started to carve gullies and erode subterranean caves. The final period of the evolving Barbados was from about 120,000 years ago, with two more significant tectonic pushes taking place. The latter, a mere 60,000 years back in time. These major pushes resulted in the middle and lower coral terraces rising above sea level. Heavy rainfall continued to erode existing gullies and enlarge older caves. The same processes that created Harrison's Cave are evident in the sculpted formations found at Welchman Hall and Jack-in-the-Box gullies. Both of these beautiful gullies are very close to Harrison's Cave. The existence of the cave we call Harrison's had almost certainly been known by the Amerindian Indians, the island's early inhabitants, but it seems that one Richard Ligon, as far back as 1647, could have been the first European to know of the cave. Certainly, it was documented that a Dr. Pinkherd and party in 1796 truly put the cave on the map. The cave was later named after Thomas Harrison, who owned the land in the area at the time. However, many years would have passed until Barbadian Tony Mason, who already had detailed knowledge of the cave, teamed up with Danish speleologist Ole Sorensen, and together they rediscovered the cave in 1970, generating great interest in this natural wonder. In 1974, the Barbados National Trust commissioned Sorensen to conduct a full survey in order to develop the cave as a local and tourist attraction. The cave was subsequently opened to the public in 1981. The original natural entrance that Sorensen used is still navigable and is now the focus of a unique wild caving tour for small groups. Over the past few years, the Harrison's Cave experience has been altered dramatically, with many innovative and exciting changes being made. There is no mystery as to how the beautiful karst formations you are about to see came about. Calcium-saturated water dripping from the roof slowly deposits minerals in the form of a stalactite. The drip then goes through the same process when it hits the floor of the cave, and a corresponding stalagmite is born. The process is immensely slow. But then, nature was never one to be hurried. Perhaps the real mystery is how nature always manages to create natural wonders far more beautiful than man could ever dream of. We hope that you will agree.